Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of Squared Triangle. I know we feel like we just got one last week because we did. This week is Forbidden Door.
We have a nice little 3-week stretch here of episodes coming out.
Yep.
Because we got this one, which you guys are watching today, which is for Forbidden Door 3. Forbidden Door 2024. And then coming up the day after this goes live, we have Money in the Bank. So
yeah,
it's going to be a fun little time for us. And then I think we have kind of a dry stretch for a month.
Welcome to Wrestle Summer.
Wrestle Summer.
We have a lot to talk about. This was a big card with some good surprises, some good things happening on the card. And yeah, we're actually going to talk about this before, the Dynamite for the week. So
I think this we all watched it together for just so we're going to reference things that we said while we were watching it at the time.
Yeah.
But I overall I think almost everything got the time it needed.
I think only
crucially. Go ahead.
No, what are you saying?
I think crucially the matches that did not need time didn't get time, with the exception of, well, those matches were on the pre-show. Doesn't matter. Never mind.
Yeah. Looking at the card up until the last two matches, I think only one match went 20 minutes, and everything else was kind of beneath that. I didn't check to see how long the main event got.
27 minutes.
27. Okay, so they gave the main event a lot of the time, but everything was anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes, with the exception of a few matches that went a little under.
Yeah.
But they did load this card with 10 matches on it for the main card, so
I'm going to bitch about that again.
They had to cram it into 4 hours too, because they started relatively late, all things considered. Yeah. But anybody else watch the pre-show?
I called it with you, actually.
We were watching it together.
That's right. Yeah, we have 4 matches on the pre-show. One was not really advertised. I think it was the Kyle Fletcher versus Serpentico. I think this is just a further
3-minute squash.
Yeah, I think this was just to further Kyle Fletcher's story right now after losing his Ring of Honor TV title to Atlantis Jr. down in CMLL. So he took it out on another luchador. And it's just...
where Serpentico still worked for the company.
Serpentico is the jobber of the company since Fuego del Sol left. So,
I was thinking Fuego del Sol. That's fair.
Yeah, he just kind of took over his spot a little bit. Just a little bit.
It's so funny because he can be two guys. He can be John Cruz and Serpentico on whatever is needed. So
he needs to do a tag match with both of them.
Yeah. It was a 3-minute squash. Ended with a nice brainbuster onto the turnbuckle. Very Sami Zayn Gunther esque.
Yep.
So not really much to say about it. A good squash to kind of add some fire to Kyle Fletcher after losing his title. Then we get to probably my favorite show on the pre-show match, or the pre-show card, which was the four-way tag team match. You had Kings of the Black Throne versus Private Party versus the team of Gabe Kidd and Roderick Strong. Really nice seeing Gabe Kidd on the card. And Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii, which is another fantastic team. I didn't know I needed. Especially when they matched their walks to the ring. If you had seen the gif of Kyle O'Reilly doing his Ishii walk with him to the ring. This was a chaotic match, but I think the ultimate purpose is twofold. It's making Kings of the Black Throne look strong. They're probably going to eventually be in the run for a tag title match, depending on how long Buddy Murphy's gone, or Buddy Matthews, whatever the name is going at. Yep. And also showing Private Party a lot of letting Private Party do a lot of stuff in this match.
This is especially tailored for Private Party. They're like what the Hardys were in the 90s.
Yeah, they were the hometown heroes in this match. They got to display a lot of their talents. There was a lot of fun moments, though. There was a whole exchange of just 1v1 exchanges against people. and Brody just stopping Gabe Kidd with a slap to the a chop to the chest was just fantastic to watch. Yeah. I kind of want to see Gabe Kidd versus Brody King a little bit more. But really good match. Kings of the Black Throne wins it. Really good showing from everybody involved. We then move on to the match that continues the Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale feud that is bubbling right now. They each brought a teammate in. Chris Statlander brought Momo Watanabe, and Willow Nightingale brought Tam Nakano. And then surprisingly, they let those two have most of the action in the ring for this match. Was very cool to see. I like this match. I did not know much about these wrestlers prior. I knew the names, but I hadn't seen them in ring action. But yeah, this very, very good wrestlers. It ultimately ends with Tam Nakano and Willow winning. Tam pinning Momo in the ring while Willow keeps Chris Statlander out of the ring from breaking it up. And this just kind of furthers the feud going into their Owen Hart Foundation tournament match.
They are probably going to be semis, finals.
Yeah, I think they're the next match. Yes, for semis. So, but yeah, nice little thing. Then they had a promo afterwards, Chris Statlander just furious with it.
I think I like the idea that these feuds that are currently going on are semifinals for the Owen Hart. Yeah. But I think the finals should just be a neutral match between two people.
Absolutely.
I like that. I like that bracketology.
It's probably going to end with Mariah and Willow, I would say, because I think Mariah's still in the tournament as well. I think that's what the next match was her and Saraya.
It was
for their Own Heart match. And I think this is building up to Mariah being somebody to challenge Tony at Wembley. Since it is the winner getting a title shot and all that. I'm thinking something may happen in the coming weeks with Tony and Mina that plants the seed in Mariah's mind. But
beats the crap out of Mina for no reason.
Yeah. This crowd also did not care about Saraya in this match, and that you could just tell.
Based of them actually.
They did do a nice callback to the Outcasts, not erasing the history between Saraya and Tony for the sake of Mariah's story. It's hey, these two did know each other back in the day. So nice little continuity stuff there going on. I didn't really care for this match though. I'm happy that Mariah won it, because you would think that going back to a title opportunity at Wembley, they think they'd put it on Saraya, but thank God they're being smart about
Saraya rubs me the wrong way, and I don't know what it is.
She's I think it's just the attitude sometimes. If you've ever seen her social media shit, I'm not going to say ungrateful. I don't know what she's like, but she definitely turns on fans often. So I don't know.
I'm not a fan, as it were, but it was it was an okay match.
It was an okay match. I'm always happy to see Mariah May get to showcase herself.
A good little 8-minute thing.
And then the final match on the pre-show card, we have Hiromu Takahashi, Yuta Tsuji, and Titan versus Lucha Brothers and Mystico. This was a fantastically chaotic match.
The second they said that the second the LIJ came out, I was like, oh, cool. This is, the New Japan versus AEW match. And then Mystico came out. I was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, it's the Lucha match, and it was a chaotically fun Lucha match.
It was.
Like I said, I don't know a lot about Titan. I know that he was on a previous card with them, or he's worked with AEW in the past. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
For everything that he did at Sin Cara, Mystico is fucking fantastic right now.
And this is the same Mystico that was Sin Cara in WWE, right?
Yeah.
He is leaps and bounds better than he was when he was in WWE.
It's wild what happens when you can talk to the other people in the match and, be able to construct your match. I think he was I think he was Espanol only.
Yeah.
And I think that might have cut into it a little bit because he didn't have to learn Spanish because he's such a legend in Mexico, or he didn't have to learn English rather.
I'm also going to put it onto
to
the regime at the time. Probably
That
didn't
too.
help.
Probably didn't have shit for him either.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I think stylistically, Mystico just didn't fit down there stylistically. You know, WWE kind of wrestles at a slower pace, and he's meant to be a much faster guy in the ring. So that kind of may have contributed as well.
Yeah, this match was great though. The face-offs, the match, or all the exchanges with Titan and Mystico were fantastic. Very hard-hitting luchador styles. I really dug it. You had Penta and Yota Tsuji face off, just continually slapping each other in the chest. And just the two powerhouses of the team. It was a very nice match. Takahashi, whenever he was on camera, just acted fucking crazy and unhinged. And I like that character work. But yeah, just a fun lucha match, I would say. I'd love to see more of Titan Mystico in AEW.
Yeah, Unhinged is pretty much on brand with Takahashi. He's been this way for years.
But yeah, all in all, a pretty decent pre-show. And then we get on to the main show. Where we're starting off with MJF and Hechicero, which this match surprised me. I really like this match. I had seen one or two matches for Hechicero when he was in AEW whenever they're doing something, but this one-on-one match with MJF, for some reason these styles just worked together in this match. It wasn't like they weren't trying to figure out what to do. They seemed very much on the same page for most of this match, and it was very fantastic for a match that was just kind of thrown in as a Cage of Agony is like, hey MJF, you want an opponent? Here's our dude. And I like Hechicero.
I was telling you guys in the thing, he reminds me just like an old school Rudo, like little heavier, little portly type of situation. Has like a the luchador mask, is wearing no shirt, but has is wearing like the tights.
He does like the classic like cross belts on the chest, and he has like a very very villainous looking mask too, which is really good.
He reminds me of one of those old like 90s lucha villains, from AAA, and
he looks like maybe. I was gonna say he looks like something else Santa would fight.
Yeah. And on top of that, I'm not really sure, because I don't follow, AAA or CML all that much, but this dude has a lot of technical ability as well, because he was just mounting submission after submission on MJF, and I thought that was kind of impressive. Now, I don't know if that's the regular style of CML. I don't know if that's like a regular thing in CML or not, but I just found it impressive to me that he can just kind of wrestle that style as well.
It would be the perfect heel tactic for a promotion of like high flying, speedy luchadors for a Rudo to just stop the match and get into a technical wrestling match with somebody.
Right?
It's just like, no, you're not going to be doing all that flippy shit. We're going
to be down here. Somebody in a hammerlock.
He just like pulls you apart
because the thing is, everything I've seen from AAA and CML is just those dudes just flying all over the place.
They have to have that foil though. They have to have someone that they're fighting. They're flying around.
So this match was great too. MJF is, I think, in a weird place character-wise though, because he went back to being like his goofy comedic self after his return promo kind of painted him to be like the serious like character return. I don't know if that's just for this card or not, but things seems
I'm probably just gonna chalk that up to him being in Buffalo and playing to his hometown crowd, but I think MJF moves away from that, eventually.
Yeah,
or maybe as soon as next week. Who knows?
Probably drops it as the build to Ospreay.
Yeah,
the thing I don't like the most about MJF, and I've told you guys this before, is that it's just if Eric Cartman was a wrestler,
basically.
Just the way he speaks, like don't get me wrong, very good in the ring, amazing in the ring, can go with anybody he's put up against. He makes the match work, as evidenced by someone he probably doesn't share a language with.
Yeah.
But it's just that like his promos are one note.
Yeah, it is the promo thing where it's just the constant, referencing or insult, like the same kind of insults. It's just, but it's still great. Like, still gets a reaction out of people, but it is something that you notice when you pay attention to it. But yeah, this was a great match. MJF winning with a Long Island Sunrise into a Brainbuster. That's what commentary called that one.
Graduating from the Cody Rhodes school of if I've been in a match with you, I get to steal your moves.
Yeah,
basically.
So MJF wins. Nice way to open the show. Hometown guy beating the villainous character. Very classic hero villain match too. So I can dig it. Then move on to the Elite versus the Acclaim and Hiroshi Tanahashi. The EVPs of AEW versus the president of New Japan and the Acclaimed, because I feel like the Acclaimed just don't have a storyline at this moment. So they're like, we'll feud with the people causing issues with the company.
Oh yeah.
Xcaster actually coming out with a pretty fire rap to insult the EVPs. It wasn't. I wasn't listening to it like with the last few pay-per-views where I'm like, oh my god, like I was actually enjoyed this one.
No, he actually had extended bars for this one because I guess they've been cutting him off for weeks now.
Yeah,
in various different ways. So I think Max Caster had a lot to get out towards the Elite, and
he took that like 6 times in one bar, and I was like, all right, I'm checked out.
In like one verse, he said bitch like 6 or 7 times.
Just joking on Okada. Dude, joking on Okada's like a little catchphrase right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okada being the whole meme machine now.
God.
He's a comedic genius.
Okada's work right now.
I had no idea Okada was a comedic genius.
Imagine being the funniest wrestler in the world, but you could never show it because you're also the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we've seen as Okada for years in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He was like this ultra serious, badass, heel, sometimes face, sometimes heel as character.
Yeah.
But he comes to New Japan and he just starts wilding out. Like, I think we're probably seeing another side of Okada that we're just not quite used to, but it's fucking hilarious.
I mean, when the Bucks put on the headphones and Okada's just sitting there doing the it's just like I'm like this man's a gif. Like he's so great in this company.
He's having the time of his life in AEW right now.
I can't believe I would even posit this, but I think New Japan was holding Okada back.
Probably
a little bit. Personality wise, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this match also played up the comedy element a little bit because both of these teams are so great at comedy. You have the turnbuckle spot where they try to throw each other and it's like the loop-de-loop and then they loop-de-loop again. And everybody, like, there's a lot of comedy spots in this match. I think the funniest one that got me was at the start of the match, Okada just ignores his opponent and goes straight for Tanahashi and knocks him off the apron before turning his attention back to his opponent. And when Tanahashi gets tagged in, Okada just tags out and leaves. Like
Tanahashi is Okada's biggest op.
Yeah. There was a really good transition in this match that I think we all liked. Is the counter of the Rainmaker into like the slam and then the mic drop. Yeah, I think that was cool. I think that was one of our moments that was like that was a really smooth transition from both teams to set that up. But Rainmaker is eventually hit on Tanahashi. Tanahashi eats the pin. They're about to do a post-match beatdown, but then Billy Gunn comes out to make the save. They say that he's had respect for Tanahashi since the 90s and all that. So long time friendship between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with a take that I saw on Twitter, though. Billy Gunn should not be presented like this at 60-something. Like, I feel like you could probably put somebody else in that spot.
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault. He's still jacked.
Brick shit house.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude takes good care of himself.
Good genetics and/or steroids.
We're living in a new time, and the thing is, we're living in a new time now where fitness has improved leaps and bounds from the 1980s. So you got 60-year-olds who are just fucking jacked now, and as long as you take good care of yourself and your body, he's just in great shape.
He's in great shape.
You'll be too, as long as you just stick to it. So
yeah, and another great another great like comedy wrestler who can be comedic when he wants to be, but can still also put on great matches.
I'm not mad about Billy Gunn being in the place he is. Like I said, he can still go, and it's the damnedest thing. He doesn't have the endurance he used to have, but he still got it.
He walked away from his 2 sons and adopted 2 more sons, and now he's helping them.
He's helping the inner city youth.
He's got 4 sons in total. 2 of them adopted, 2 of his own kids, and they're all doing so well right now.
Yep.
Yeah, not a lot to say about this match though. Like the first match, this pay-per-view kind of starts relatively simple for an AEW pay-per-view. It's just getting these like showcase matches out of the way. You know, it's like MJF and Hexera don't really have a storyline set up in it. It's just there's a match between 2 talents from different companies, and then this one's like, hey, the Elite are going to be on the show. They have a current feud with Bowens and Caster. Let's just get Tanahashi in here since Okada's here. You know, nice little
throwback.
But then starting from the 3rd match, and then for the most part past this, either anything's a title match or has a outcome to it before we get to some more single matches that are just there. Match 3, we get Bryan Danielson versus Shingo Takagi. This was a very, very interestingly paced, like New Japan technical match.
It was very much, I'd say, yeah, it's a New Japan-esque matchup.
Yeah, it's a very slow technical match that wasn't dull. It's just the pace compared to, the previous match, and then the match that comes after it is just kind of more methodical between these 2.
So to us American wrestling fans, this is an acquired taste. Okay, because I remember when I was watching New Japan Pro Wrestling matches about 10 or so odd years ago, I'm like, why the hell is this taking so long to build? And did they get there eventually? It's one of those things where New Japan matches, they start really slow like this. So the pacing is a little off for us American wrestling fans. We're just used to, constantly. And
yeah.
But once they get to the where they get going, these matches get good. So it just takes a little bit of patience to get through the early part of this match.
Yeah, this match was interesting because the storyline here is that Bryan Danielson is not happy with how his last full-time year is going. He's lost a lot over the previous months. And he's kind of trying to fire back. He's trying to get himself like fired back up. And this is the Owen Hart tournament match with him and Shingo. And for most of this match, Shingo is absolutely in control of this. Like, the size difference really kicks in here for Shingo, and he is very much in control for a lot of this match. Let's see what my notes here are. It's just a lot of back and forth at times, a lot of technical counters, a lot of submission holds. There is a counter where he tries to lift Danielson, but it counters into an armbar. And we don't see Shingo tap, but we assume that it is a verbal tap because the match is then called while he has Shingo locked in this armbar.
What happens? Well, a lot of times what'll happen is you'll see their head like kind of go like this.
Yeah.
And that's their confirmation of, hey, I give up.
I think it was just a camera angle because the way that we had it was like coming this way where it's kind of like hitting the ribs and the shoulder, like from the underside. So you can't really see their head or anything either. I think it was just a bad camera angle, but they say that it's a verbal tap. I'm assuming Shingo's like, yeah, I tap, This is the first of a few matches on the card tonight that are very technical. And it's actually very, very cool to see like just the variety of all of this on this card. But Danielson wins, and he will be taking on Pac on Wednesday for the next match of this tournament.
And that's a match I needed to see.
A really good match. I want to say, because they were in the Indies together, I want to say somewhere in like PWG or Dragon Gate or somewhere they've fought before. But that was when Pac was like shrimpy.
Yeah, somebody posted the time. It has been 16 years and some odd months since these two had a match against each other.
There it is.
Oh,
like,
damn.
These two did not wrestle each other in WWE. These two did not wrestle each other in anywhere else. It's like the last 16 years, these two have never crossed paths in a 1v1 match. So I'm excited. I'm excited
That's
to
like
see
2008. Damn.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where all this shit goes. That's going to be a fantastic match. But yeah, nice little win, pushing the Owen Hart tournament forward. And then Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa. This match was great because Toni was selling for Mina like fucking rent was due. Like,
yeah,
Toni was getting her ass kicked this fucking match.
Oh yeah, and like I said, it's like Deca mentioned this too. This is like one of the only few matches in Forbidden Door that actually made sense. You know, because they had
this match. There was some kind of booking here.
Yeah, they had like an elaborated storyline going. I think between Mariah May and the other two, because Mariah May couldn't choose who she wanted to side with, and she visibly showed that at the beginning of this match. Like, she did some great character work here. I will give her that much.
Okay, let's talk about real quick. This is the only. I don't agree. This is the only story match. This is the only one that has long running story. To it. Because there is story in this with Samoa Joe, Hook Shibata, and Jericho, even if we hate the Jericho storylines. The TNT title match continues the Elite storyline with Jack Perry being given his spot.
But I think
that for the sake of the build, though, for Swerve and Ospreay was very short, but was still very good over the last 3 weeks.
I love the weigh-in segment of that, but we'll get to that when that match comes.
Yes. So there were a lot of these were just, like I said, the MJF Hekasero match. Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. kind of has a weak story, but it is there.
This is mostly showcase matches, which is fine because this
is the showcase pay-per-view. So
it is what it is.
But yeah, this one definitely benefited. This one definitely benefited from having its story. Toni Storm also has the Statue of Liberty, while being Australian is fucking hilarious. It's like,
that's great.
This was after she cut a promo during the week, which was a modified poem for the Statue of Liberty, I think, while walking on broken glass. And I'm like, she's just the best character right now, right? She's the best women's character in wrestling. Like,
no, not even the best women's character. She's just the best character.
She's just the best character. She's
the best
absolutely insane
right now, by far.
Like, it's absurd. WWE let her go. Like,
yeah. And she came up with all of this. And I'm like, this is perfect. I love this version of Toni Storm. I really do. Because just when you think she just continues to just go above. You
think the character can't go any further, and she does.
She just keeps going. Like, what the hell? She's so creative, man.
This match also has the added benefit of Nigel just saying shit on commentary and breaking Taz.
And Taz was going nuts in commentary too.
Taz is like losing his mind, like trying to just keep himself together with all the shit that Nigel is just yapping about. Like, he is simping for this match in every way, shape, and form.
Especially after the match was over.
He gave him a standing ovation with tears in his eyes.
Amazing.
But yeah, this whole match for pretty much the entire length of it is Mina just beating the shit out of Toni Storm. Like, it's a surprisingly one-sided match for the most part. But then there's a rally, a sweet diving like DDT, the 2 headbutts, and after a little bit of offense, it hits the finish, gets the pin. I was like, well, it's kind of abrupt, but it's still a very, very good match. I love Mina. I think I want to look for more of her matches now from Stardom. Just kind of see what's especially in the past, because I mean, you have Mariah May as her old tag partner there too. You can kind of see like the history of Mariah May before she reached AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were actually tag champs at Stardom.
Yeah. And then it ends with a trio, basically, where they all share a triple kiss, and Mariah has them settle their differences, and now Toni and Mina are kind of cool with each other.
And Mariah
So-
has 2 sets of cheeks to grab now. So
I saw the Instagram post. Yes,
Good for
it
her.
was fucking hilarious.
the best story right now is a lesbian polycule.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
I wonder who's booking this shit. Like, is this Tony or is this which
Is this
Tony
or
is this?
Tony?
It's like which Tony is this, or is this Kenny Omega, like from the hospital?
I wouldn't
Like,
say this is Omega. This feels like Kenny Omega because this is just goofy.
This is some stuff he would do with
in like DDT. This feels like a
yeah.
DDT like women's feud.
Yes. This feels like a feud that Kenny Omega himself was in with what's his name as the Golden Lovers.
Ibushi. Yeah, this feels like
Ibushi,
something
yeah,
that Ibushi and Kenny would write as like a male version of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic match. I would definitely recommend people looking up this one if you want to see just great women's wrestling.
This is I don't even want to use the like women's qualifier. This is just a good match overall.
Yeah.
Like,
I
amazing
think
character work. The storyline with Mariah May on both
It's all
sides of the ring. It's
when the
wow,
turn
chef's
when the
kiss.
when the turn finally happens, it's going to hit like frack. Like,
it is.
It's gonna
just-
be so emotional.
it's funny that both of the women's championship matches on this card just fucking slapped. Like, they delivered. It's really surprising considering we keep harping on these pay-per-views just in general from these companies not giving the women time. But how long did this Tony Storm match have?
Like somewhere between
Match?
15 and 20 minutes.
This match
I
was
believe.
11 minutes.
11
Okay.
minutes. They did a lot in 11 minutes. How much was the Mercedes
like 11
Stephanie
minutes.
match?
The which one?
The Mercedes Stephanie.
That match was 17 minutes.
Okay, so about a half an hour out of a 4-hour card. That's better than what we usually get.
Look, look, the bar is them
The bar's
having
in hell.
full women's matches.
The bar's in hell. I know, but we're getting there. We're
Sure.
getting there.
It's getting better.
And we'll talk about that Mercedes Stephanie match because a lot happened during that whole development.
A lot that could have implications on the future of the women's division, but we'll get to
Oh
that.
yeah,
The next match is my current match of the night, as I'm thinking.
this
about it.
Orange Cassidy Zack Sabre Jr. match.
Oh,
no
God, this was
reason
good.
being this entertaining.
It went so hard. We were
It
we were
did.
just talking about how like really good character work that works within the bounds of like what you're trying to tell in the ring. Like when you
Yeah.
can get both of those things, like if you have a great character, good. You can get over with the crowd. But if you're
Yes,
shit in
yes.
the ring, then
If you're
you
shit in
got
the ring,
nothing
nobody's
there.
going to care. Yeah.
Right. But when you can combine both of them, like these two matches did, this was my high point of the night.
Yeah. So the story for this is last year at Forbidden Door, there was the Fatal 4-Way match for the international title. Daniel Garcia, Orange Cassidy, Katsuyori Shibata, and Zack Sabre Jr. And Orange Cassidy pinned Daniel Garcia to retain the match. So they kind of followed up with it this year to a degree with Zack Sabre Jr. kind of calling out Orange Cassidy for it. Then he was saying like, can pin him with my hands in my pockets or something. And Zack Sabre Jr. took umbrage to that. A pretty simple build with a little bit of history behind him. But this match just proves how just cocky Zack Sabre Jr. is and how unserious Orange Cassidy is. I think all of our favorite spots was when he had him in the arm thing and he just did like the slow like dance to escape
Oh yeah.
the arm thing.
Like,
Just stepped
slowly coming
out.
out.
Yeah, it was so stupid. I was like, God, I can't hate this man.
See,
Like-
the thing with Orange Cassidy is this guy is incredible in the ring. I think he just gets a lot of flack from fans
Yeah,
outside of AEW because of his gimmick. His gimmick is supposed to be that of an aloof slacker, and he does those antics during these matches. But the thing is, he just makes being so unserious while being completely technical work somehow.
yeah,
Those are two things that should not go together.
We had Okada in the last match, how we were talking about how he was so serious and became like a comedy wrestler. This
Yeah.
is like the reverse Okada.
yeah. This is Carefree Orange Cassidy actually like getting serious in some matches at times.
Yeah.
I think the highest point of that character change was the Moxley match where he was just defiant at the end. You know,
Mhm.
Flip Moxley at Delbert takes a paradigm shift and loses his title. I mean, that international title's reign of champions is absurd with how good Orange Cassidy made it. Like, he made that belt mean something after the Pac reign. And now it's on Ospreay. So it's the workhorse. That's the workhorse title.
That's the workhorse title, yeah, for sure.
Honestly, I think at this point, other than, well, I don't know, man. Because among AEW fans, this could probably be a little controversial. I think the International Championship is a step above the TNT Championship at this point.
Yeah.
Because of the history of the title itself and how much effort they put into it. You know, the TNT title has just kind of been bouncing around from person to person, and now it's starting to get some stability.
I think we've talked about it in the past of how I would break down titles, like secondary titles. In WWE, you have your Intercontinental, which is the workhorse. You have the US, which is usually like the popularity or like the TV title. You know, you put it on somebody who's going to be on TV a lot, just kind of keep it on. Or put it on somebody who is known, which is why it's on Jake or Logan Paul right now. I think the TNT and the International are like that. The workhorse is the international title. And then because it's the TV brand, it's more of just the, I guess, more popular wrestler in terms of attention right now. And that's why it's on Jack Perry. You know,
that makes sense.
And Christian Cage, when he was doing his best work, was the TNT champion. So it's just like, I think it's just one of those things where it's like, this is going to go on to somebody who is getting attention right now, you know? I mean, same thing can be said about the TBS title. It's back on Mercedes. You know, she's a big name right now. About to have a big money feud from the looks of it.
Yeah.
So, but I think that international title, like, it helps solidify Orange Cassidy also as like a stalwart, like, member of the roster. He's like, you can rely on me when you need something done, like in a feud or a match or something like that. Eventually, Zack Sabre Jr. wins after making Orange Cassidy a pretzel after a very long technical match.
Spot.
It was a very wild, I can't even describe the fucking hold he had Orange Cassidy in. It was just everything. Like, everything was wrapped up.
Wasn't it like a counter into a submission which folded into another submission? Like, I mean, it's hard to describe. You got to watch it to see what we're talking about. He had him in like an arm, like a weird like arm bar, but then he like did like the cross-legged like hold and everything, and it was like bending him back. It was a really crazy looking submission hold. But
I liked it though.
End of the match too. Zack Sabre Jr. hands Orange Cassidy his sunglasses. A little sign of respect. He doesn't do anything heelish about him. He just hands them back and gets out of the ring.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if this is going to be a thing going forward again, because I could see, you know, another rematch, Zack Sabre Jr. and Orange Cassidy at, you know, Wembley, probably being a big money match too. But it all depends.
I thought this match was phenomenal. I thought
it was fantastic.
It was great. It was taking your character and taking your gimmick that you wouldn't expect to like pop off like that and popping it off in the ring is the like that perfect marriage of like character work and ring work. Is just you're not the best person in the ring. You just got to be good enough for your gimmick to take you.
Yeah.
I mean, and on top of that, this was just a showcase. This was more or less a showcase match, but this was pretty much the high point of this pay-per-view because you put two talents in there who most people just did not expect to mesh well, and they just put on a clinic in there. Like,
yeah.
Honestly, if anything, this just elevates Orange Cassidy more in my book.
I think it's just I think the argument could be made who's the better technical wrestler, Bryan Danielson or Zack Sabre Jr., because I think the Zack Sabre Jr. match was much better than the Shingo Danielson match, but I don't know if that's because of Zack or just Orange Cassidy or just the two of them together.
I think it's just the two of them together, man. They just have incredible chemistry, and I didn't
wild.
Expect that at all. It's insane.
So we go from that high point to the bathroom break. We all actually did get up. We all did get up and got drinks and went to the bathroom when
begrudgingly watched this match.
But then we begrudgingly watched Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Jeff Cobb versus Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. This match thankfully did not go on too long.
13 minutes, thank God.
13 minutes, perfect amount for this match, perfect finish. Everybody did something in the ring. Really good job showcasing Jeff Cobb as a wrestler, especially being New Japan's TV champion.
Just like throwing around Samoa Joe was remarkable.
Yeah. So both Shibata and Hook do the nope spot, and Joe, it zooms in on Joe looking so proud at his teammates.
Like a proud father.
We have Cobb and Joe in the ring. We're getting the meat chance like we got with Powerhouse Hobbs and Miro back several months back. And it just starts breaking down. Brian Keith arrives. He doesn't really do much ultimately in this match, which is pretty good. Thankfully, because I liked the finish to this. We also did not care about this match enough that we noticed that there were 2 Scott Steiners in the audience. So we noticed the one Scott Steiner earlier, and then when it focused again, we saw that there was an identical guy sitting next to him. And
Scott Steiner.
And I was like, we're more focused on Scott. I was more focused on Scott Steiner in the audience than I was on any part of the match with Jericho in it. We did get a good finish though. Yeah, it's just Jericho. He's in the crowd hates him, but like it keeps getting him over. So it's just
the thing with this is this learning tree gimmick is just so obnoxious.
It really has. He's in there like in the whole ring, just like waving to the crowd and doing like all the dumb shit.
Like seriously, he sounds like fucking Goku trying to describe the next episode of Dragon Ball Z when he goes, "Hi guys, how you doing?" I'm like, dude, just fucking stop. I don't want to see. Like, I am not a fan of this learning tree gimmick. This again, I'm probably said this on the previous podcast, but this is like what his 3rd faction in 5 years now.
Yeah. I don't think Jericho's had a solo run in AEW.
No, he hasn't. Not in this whole, except outside the Lionheart stuff, which that was mostly solo ones. No, he hasn't.
Because he's always either had Sammy with him or somebody else, but he's always been in a faction. Like it's crazy. Luckily, they did the right booking to finish the match, though. Hook nails Jericho with a Judas effect and picks up the pin clean. It's just a very good finish, getting that fire back under Hook after everything that his feud with Jericho put him through. Fantastic job here for the finish, at least.
Yeah.
They could have fucked it up. Like they could have, but they did the right choice.
I liked that Hook was like setting up for it, and like I was like, oh shit, he's gonna do the elbow. He's like, no, he's just straight up does a Judas effect.
And hits it and gets the pin, which is something Jericho hadn't been able to do in recent time.
But outside of Samoa Joe versus Jeff Cobb, which I'm really interested in, the stuff with Hook that Hook's doing, again, I just don't care for the learning tree gimmick. I want it off my television. But I am glad. However, I am glad that Big Bill is actually getting an opportunity to do stuff.
Yeah, so, we were talking about that while we were watching it. You know, leaving WWE after being with the whole Enzo tag team and then the feud. I know he went probably through like rehab to get himself clean. Also, I think he's engaged now. Also, so
for him,
he's in a shitty gimmick right now, but at least he's doing well as a person. Yeah, which I'm happy about. And yeah, he's getting TV time. He's getting to improve himself. So hopefully we can see a nice solo run down the line or something. Then chaos happens. It is a ladder match in AEW, so you know that this is going to be a train wreck.
15 minutes of a train wreck.
We have Konosuke Takeshita, Jack Perry, Mark Briscoe, Leo Rush, Dante Martin, and El Phantasmo in a 6-man TNT title match. There are ladders. There are tables. There's almost another Edge fuck up.
And one, guess who? Yeah, Yeah, let's play a game called Guess Who Almost Dies This Time.
I shared the picture in the Discord of El Phantasmo. I'm gonna join the TNT ladder match, and then just the image of him under the tables after being blue thunder bombed. Just damn, this is hard.
Damn, this is hard.
For anybody who might be asking, I have the Wikipedia result. I got a iPad, so I have the Wikipedia results right here. I know it's
okay,
out on this end, but
yeah,
when I'm looking down, I'm looking at the wiki.
That's fair.
Cool.
So yeah, we have the 6-man match. It starts with typical AEW comedy of them beating the shit out of Jack Perry to get him out of the match, and then they turn on Takeshita being the second biggest threat. Then you have 4 roughly baby faces in the ring, and they all just kind of go for a ladder and just start trying to get the belt after taking out the two heel characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny because Jack's running and Takeshita just lays him out with that forearm. It was just really funny to watch. Just that impact sound and Jack just goes down.
Yeah.
Absolutely love Takeshita striking, man. It looks legit. Like he can just pretty much give you a concussion with one hit.
It was a really good exchange with him and El Phantasmo before the Blue Thunder Bomb 2. Just the elbow strike and then the knee strike from Takeshita looks so good. And El Phantasmo sold it really well too.
I thought El Phantasmo died for a second there.
El Phantasmo, all his faction is like gone right now, so he's on a New Japan like solo run, and this is definitely helping his case as a capable, performer. He was great in this match.
I also love that image of just that piece of table just covering it.
Yeah, just those tables
laid out.
It's so crazy really because we had one table that didn't break, and then we had 2 tables that just obliterated from the Blue Thunder Bomb.
To be fair, whose fault was that?
Yeah, we'll get to that. So
yeah,
a bunch of chaos in this match. There is a really funny top-down view of Leo Rush trying to run away and then getting taken out. Great camera work in this pay-per-view also.
I was going to bring that up actually. Like, as good as the matches are in the ring, the camera work has gotten top-notch. I haven't watched AEW in a little bit. I'll watch matches here and there, but I haven't watched like a whole production in a while.
Yeah.
And the camera work has gotten really good.
We'll get to it with the Ospreay Swerve match, but there's just like really good tracking shots like around the ring or over the crowd. I'm glad that both companies are trying to up their production game, and it's making it look way more cinematic than a normal wrestling show.
Well, also, I'm so glad Kevin Dunn is no longer a producer in anything wrestling wise. This is so refreshing to watch.
Kevin Dunn was holding 2 different companies back, possibly 3.
Yeah, because it's like, oh shit, you guys we can. Why didn't we think of that as a camera thing? And then the other company's like, oh fuck, that looks so good. Let's just get to the point. Mark Briscoe almost edges. I'm not gonna say edges himself. Mark Briscoe.
you can't put that toothpaste back out of that.
Nope. He does what Edge did in the cage match, and he tries to dive onto a table, but he dives more like a pencil rather than a crossbody. And like half and half's the table. Half and half's the table. It doesn't break. And Jack Perry just topples over with the table after the impact.
Again, just splash. That's all I'm asking.
I'm just like, God damn it, dude. We also had the scare of Dante Martin. Might have gotten hurt again, but thankfully he's fine. It did land on the leg that he broke the last time he was in a ladder match. Yeah. And Dante sold it really well too, like verbally, expression, like did a great job selling that injury. Or
I think also Mark Briscoe did end up almost killing Konosuke Takeshita with a J driller on the ladder.
Oh yeah, he hit a J driller, and it's like it looked like Takesha's face went right into one of the steps. So luckily he wasn't busted open or anything. So it might have gone through the spacing.
Surprised he didn't just pull in. I'm genuinely surprised he didn't just reach into his trunks and start going.
Yeah. Then there was, but aside from all like the train wreck of spots that were in this, as you would expect from a ladder match, there was a real funny titty twister on Jack Perry when they were both on top of the ladder, which was actually a really funny comedy moment there.
Yep.
We mentioned the El Phantasmo just getting laid out through 2 tables by Takeshita, and then just being dead for the rest of the match. Just a great visual too. He's just sprawled out. There's a piece of table just covering his face as he's just laid out outside the ring. The crowd starts to go nuts for Takeshita climbing the ladder. Like this, I think the crowd really thought Takeshita was going to get it, and you could hear like the reaction from the crowd. So I think that's just indicative of Takeshita needs a title on him at some point. Like they are leaving money on the table with how popular this guy is.
Yes.
But that's not the case, as Jack returns, lays out Mark Briscoe after Briscoe took Takeshita out off the ladder. And Jack Perry now has the TNT title, adding to the Elite's title runs. They're now tag team, Continental, and TNT, with a wild card set to arrive, which I believe might be Hangman Page. Coming back for them. So see what he goes after. Assuming it's going to be a Swerve feud again.
I think so too.
Arena, huh?
It is setting up for Anarchy in the arena. Would probably be like babyface team AEW versus, the Elite. So, which I can get behind. This was a train wreck of a ladder match in all the best ways, with the exception of Mark Briscoe almost killing himself.
Yeah. I think that was a little much. It's like he's just like shout out to Edge and then forgets to do a spot.
Also just the placement of the ladder for that spot too on the apron, like spacing.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a little bit of extra space on it, but that is still a scary spot to put that ladder up. So, because if it does slip off the side, it's not just you going down with it, it's that ladder going towards the barricade in the crowd. Like it's not a good place to lay that. Luckily it worked out for everybody. A great display from Dante Martin and Leo Rush. Leo Rush is getting better and better ever since leaving WWE.
My favorite part was when he was trying to do the spot where he like slides under someone and they just throw a ladder at him.
Yeah, he just eats a ladder being thrown at him, and then he does the dive through the ladder spot that he usually does.
Yeah.
Leo Rush definitely brought some heat to this, and his storyline with Dante Martin kind of being hesitant friends, I would say, is going to be an interesting thing going forward if they continue it. We get to a great second women's match on this fucking card.
Honestly, this was my favorite women's match of the night. Even with all the Tony Storm stuff, this was my favorite by far.
This match was so good. I want to watch more Stephanie Vacker matches. Holy shit, she is great.
I'm telling you right now, before we get into this, if Stephanie Vaquer ends up leaving CMLL at some point,
they're lost.
She's going to have a contract for somebody. I think if either it's WWE or AEW, she's going to be in a North American promotion.
I would love to see her on AEW. I would not mind to see her in WWE stiffing it with fucking Julia.
Yeah.
In NXT. Like that women's NXT roster is going to be terrified of how stiff some of these competitors are. But yeah, this match was so good. One of the notes that we have though is that during this whole match though, Taz was actively pissing off Deca on commentary.
I want him to explain this because he said, I can't remember what he said, but you got enraged at this.
Taz thing on matches that he's very clearly not interested in, that he'll like make small talk with
Nigel or them.
Whoever.
Yeah.
And he just, and that's fine. Like whatever. I watch competitive League of Legends games and they'll do that too. But what he tries to do more than anything is just try to like get himself over.
Yeah.
Like so someone does a suplex, he's like, oh, someone did a suplex. That's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, shut the fuck up, Taz.
Yeah, so Taz is using this whole match to kind of put himself over. aside from that, though, like this had that great tracking shot like around the ring with the cameraman. They really let Stephanie have a lot of control in this match, and I've noticed that this is a thing in Mercedes matches lately. She definitely lets them kick her ass for like the first half of the matches. The Willow match, the Stephanie match, like Mercedes is definitely like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna let my opponent look strong. You know, like it's a very. I mean, she might be in control of some creative for herself, maybe, but at the same time, she's not like being greedy about it.
Yeah.
So she's at least going out there and putting over her opponents, even if she wins. A nice gory bomb into the crossface. Stephanie taps, kind of predictable. You know, I feel like we did.
That was
We did make the discussion that it's a CMLL and an AEW wrestler wrestling for a New Japan title.
That's
So
the most remarkable bit of that was. I think that was the most remarkable bit about this entire match. I thought it was good. I don't think it unseats Toni Storm versus
oh no, it's definitely like neck and neck. I think for
Mina.
me,
Yeah, it's for sure neck and neck with Toni Mina. It's just I
don't know what it was. I just kind of like this match a little better, but not by much. But because I enjoyed both of these women's matches, but there was just something about this match that made me realize that this women's division is about to cook. Yeah. Especially they can get Vaquer on more regularly.
Yeah.
And then the post match.
Yeah. So Mercedes wins. She's back to being New Japan Strong Women's Champion, which was probably always the plan for New Japan, is to put the title on her. She got injured when she won it, or she got injured during the match for it, which is why it went to Willow. And then they started, changing it, put it back on Mercedes, and then I think she lost it again to Stephanie. Or no, did Willow lose it to Stephanie? I can't remember the actual reign run. But it's back on.
Lost to Stephanie.
Yeah, it's back on Mercedes, which I feel like was always their plan, to give her a lengthy run with it. And then you can't be the face of the women's division until you beat the first face of the women's division. And Britt Baker's back, top of the ramp, staring down Mercedes Moné. And if this isn't a Wembley match, I don't know what the fuck is. Like,
I mean, that's pretty much
a big ticket match.
Yeah, because that's pretty much all in right there. That's their next big pay-per-view, the biggest one of the summer, and the biggest one of the company. You got to do this at All In. Britt Baker versus Mercedes Moné. This is a match I'm pretty certain that a lot of AEW fans were looking forward to since the time Mercedes walked in. I think this is going to be fantastic, and to me, this could probably skyrocket the women's division, depending on how this goes.
I feel like also Britt looks great, like coming back. Like she definitely like got her physique going right now, and it's fantastic. But yeah, this is old. This is like original AEW versus like the new face of AEW's women, and I'm like this.
I dig it.
Unfortunately, it feels like Britt's going to take the loss, but it depends on how long they want Mercedes to have a TBS title, I would say, because that's what, 2 more months?
Yeah.
So who knows? And we're going to be at Wembley. We could see a Jamie Hayter return. It's a lot could happen to help Mercedes lose her titles.
That is my hope right now. She returns.
I am much more concerned about where Jamie Hayter is than I was for Britt Baker. I love seeing Britt Baker back. Anything to boost the women's division.
The thing is, it's just like we're not getting any information about these people who are out with injuries, quote unquote. So it's like even Tony during like media scrims is like, oh yeah, we don't have a timeline yet for Britt and all that. She's out with an injury, and then boom, she's back. So it's just like, cool, they're just going to keep lying to us and keeping it a surprise, and I'm down with that. Like,
I don't mind that.
They are.
They're just going to keep lying to me, Tony.
Get surprises like this, I don't mind that at all. Just keep lying to us.
I was not expecting Britt Baker to walk out. Like, I was not expecting, because we just assumed that she was out with an injury, and she was playing it up on Twitter too, I think. Like all this other shit. So I'm like, God, they're just really good at this, like, whole surprise thing. Like, But yeah, so Britt Baker, Mercedes Moné, I can see that being the Wembley match. God, I hope it is.
That's a money match right there.
It should be.
Absolutely.
Yep.
After this match, we get a promo for Wrestle Dynasty. New Japan is going back to the Tokyo Dome, and they're bringing friends. They are bringing CMLL, AEW, and Ring of Honor, which means that we're basically getting 2 Forbidden Door events each year.
Forbidden Door in EW edition.
Yeah, so we're getting the AEW one where, most of the time the AEW wrestlers will probably go over. And now we're going to get the New Japan one where they're going to repay the favor, Yep. And CMLL is like, I'm here too. So
Ring of Honor's peppered in there somewhere.
I really want them to do the thing where they just Shinsuke Nakamura or like AJ Styles or someone who had like a really big history in New Japan just shows up just randomly.
I would love just for all the walls to come down,
Yes.
Just give me something, where just all the walls of wrestling just fucking collapse.
But we're opening all the forbidden doors because the forbidden door has a forbidden door.
You can't have a door. You can't have a door if a wall's gone. So, but yeah, it's
gonna take Tony Khan to stop saying stupid shit involving WWE though. So
I think also for our fans, we're going to eventually have to have the discussion of whether or not we cover Wrestle Dynasty as a pay-per-view or not. So we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you all on that one.
We're gonna have to.
I wouldn't mind it if it's like Forbidden Door Part 2 for the year.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see when the time frame is. And then we're down to the last 2 matches of the card. And this is definitely the chill, let the crowd get their energy back before the main event match. And it's not bad, but it is definitely New Japan as fuck. And I can tell if people would think this I understand if people would say this match is boring.
Right.
Because this is
wrong,
Moxley.
But
it is. But you have to also appreciate the New Japan style of things. We get Tetsuya Naito versus Jon Moxley for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. We did not know who was going to win this, but given how New Japan is kind of undergoing a reset, it feels like Naito is the acceptable choice here, just to keep it within your company. Not have somebody who goes back and forth. New Japan needs to figure shit out for themselves over this next year or so. They need to build new stars. They've lost a ton of their talent. And somebody like Naito who's been there for a while is a good choice to have the title on for any new guy coming up.
I would say between now and Wrestle Dynasty, they need to figure out who their top talent is going to be and who they're going to showcase for this pay-per-view and going forward, because you got a lot of young guys in that company right now who do have the potential, You got Yota Tsuji, you have Shota Umino.
You got Umino, who should be like
Gabe Kidd.
He should be a write-in. Him and Gabe Kidd should be write-ins for these are guys we should focus on.
Yeah.
Son of Red Shoes.
Son of Red Shoes. Gabe Kidd is he lost most of his faction, but he is owning it. He is standing out as a character.
And then you have Ren Narita.
Jeff Cobb is still there.
Jeff Cobb.
Yeah. They need to look at who they have and be like, all right, who's our top 6? Who do we want to focus our time and attention on? Because they need to do something. They've lost so much of their roster.
Yeah.
This match is definitely Moxley healing it up. He is wrestling like an absolute asshole this match. Even going to the point of almost attacking Red Shoes. When he tries to stop him from using the chair on Naito.
When he kicks the chair off to the side.
Yeah. It is definitely a slow match. How long did this go?
This match was 17 minutes.
17 minutes? That's a perfect time.
Yes.
For a match like this. There we go. But yeah, so it was a 17-minute long New Japan style match, a very slow build. John Moxley healing it up, Naito being able to mount the comeback, and the title goes back to New Japan, which I think is the first step of many things that they have to do. We were talking about it during the match. I feel like if Moxley was told he had to do the job, he knows how to do business. He'll understand. He went out there, he put on a great New Japan match with Naito, and then took the pin. So
Mox is a professional, man. He is, and
Mox
that's why he's
is
the ace of AEW.
Yep, he's the ace. He'll do whatever you need him to do. So, but yeah, title's back on Naito. It's going back to New Japan, and hopefully this little reset that they can do works out for him. But this was definitely the get your food, go to the bathroom. We're going to have a nice slow match. Just reset your mind because we're going to have a banger of a main event. Like, again,
Holy
Swerve
shit.
is incredible. Ospreay is incredible. These two together brought it. Like, this match was wild in every way.
It was a really good match.
Honestly,
So-
this was the best match of the night. By far.
So, from the entrances, we have Will Ospreay coming out with Hayabusa gear on. You know, this is the wrestler in New Japan that inspired him. He has the mask. He wore the sash during the entire match.
yeah,
The
because
Swerve. Yeah. What were you saying?
if you for those who don't know, Hayabusa was like one of the big stars of Japan's FMW promotion, which is basically Japanese ECW. As a matter of fact, he was their star wrestler in that promotion, and he did a lot of things that you see a lot of these younger dudes today because he was like a pioneer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, but Will Ospreay just took the time to honor him. You know, and I just thought that whole thing was amazing, from the mask to the sash and all of that.
I don't think we have Ospreay. I don't think we have Ricochet, and I don't think we have early AJ Styles if it's not for what Hayabusa kind of pioneered in wrestling.
No, we don't.
Like, he's a lot of these high flyers, like crazy athletic guys that we see. A lot of the stuff stems from him in Japan. Not to mention, he just looks fucking cool for his time too. The mask, the look, everything about him was awesome to see.
He was incredible.
Yeah. So a nice little tribute for Hayabusa from Ospreay, which is also pretty funny. Hayabusa, you know, Japanese for Falcon. Then you have Ospreay. So nice little bird connection there in a way. Then you got Jim Jones introducing Swerve. So nice little surprise there. Nice little surprise there. Comes out with his title. Nana comes out with a cup of coffee. Swerve comes out in new ring gear, it looks like, too. Yeah, kind of like the leggings on with like the boxing shorts, which is a different style than what he's normally wearing.
The United States of Swerve.
Yeah, United States of Swerve. So yeah, nice little big fight field straight from the get-go with these two. The crowd still goes crazy for Ospreay's theme. I think that's just one of those themes that's like Cody's, where it's like the crowd's always going to sing it. This kind of started like the Danielson Omega match, where once that bell rung, the crowd started going crazy. Not like overly crazy like they did with Omega and Danielson, but they were still hyped as shit to see what was about to happen. And Jesus Christ, there's so much that happened in this match. Like,
Far the longest match at 27 minutes.
27 minutes, it didn't feel like it. Like, we were watching this and time just flew by during this match. Yeah, it's just like you have Hurricanranas off the barricade, you have just neck breakers in the ring, just clashing back and forth, slugging it out, a power bomb into a Styles Clash, the avalanche angle slam where Ospreay got some fucking height on that. It's like, it's just these guys going back and forth, just destroying each other. But yeah.
I think there was like one cool sequence where I think they were trying to hit like the striking finishes, and Will Ospreay missed a hidden blade, and then Swerve tried to come back with a house call, and they both missed that. And I thought that sequence was beautiful.
Yeah, there was the exchange of Swerve like ducking under the kick too. Early on, like I think there was 2 segments of these exchanges where they just avoided each other. Fucking Osprey's back heel kicks look so good every time. Like, we then get to the outside. Osprey tries to go for an Oz cutter, completely crashes on the apron. Swerve goes up for a stomp. Osprey thinks he's safe, rolling off the ring, and gets Swerve stomped onto the Spanish announce table, which was a great visual
was really
spot
good.
from that too. It's everything is so fucking crazy. There's so many false finishes, like 2.99 a lot of the time. Like, I thought Osprey was going to get the championship from one of the pin counts. But a match like this has to have something, right? So the ref eats a hidden blade.
Yep.
After a bunch
nasty.
of shit, Swerve gets hit with Stormbreaker. The Tiger Driver is countered. Swerve hits a hidden blade, and then the ref eats a hidden blade. Callis shows up, and we're like, "Oh, Don Callis family." Slow reveal of the same screwdriver from the Kenny Omega feud. Osprey's conscience kind of kicks in, but Nana stops Don Callis from interfering, which was nice seeing the managers kind of duke it out a little bit. In a way, Nana just wasn't there to be supportive. He actually stopped, another manager. Osprey with a screwdriver attacks Nana. Nana looking really funny, saying, it's me," like pleading, basically. He throws out the screwdriver, gets into the ring, eats 2 house calls. It's a 2 count. I think they have their face down moment where Osprey goes for a hidden blade. We think they're going to do the spot of a hidden blade countered into a house call kind of thing, like the spear into the house call during the Christian Cage match.
Yeah,
but it's more Osprey just kind of running on muscle memory, because he gets close to Swerve and just kind of collapses on him. Like, he was probably out after that second house call. Swerve puts him down, hits a 3rd house call, and then a JML driver, and Swerve retains. What a wild match.
Really good match. Satisfying ending.
It didn't overstay its welcome. They changed it up because you would kind of expect the fighting spirit kind of spots. And they were here and there, but they weren't as egregious, I guess, as some people would say. Normally it's oh, you ate this shit and then you're just right back up. But no, these guys actually look like they were being worn down with every fucking hit they were taking.
And the thing is, this was the right decision with this match. I wasn't ready for Swerve to drop the title just yet.
No,
because I really do think he needs to go in. He really needs to go in as champion at All In. I don't know. Well, I kind of am trying to guess what's next for him. The most obvious would be Hangman.
A crazy unhinged Hangman returning.
Unhinged Hangman. But yeah, I just wasn't ready for Swerve to drop it yet. He just needed to get that signature win, and this win against Osprey was it. It was time for Osprey to lose a match, because he hadn't quite lost since he got to AEW. So he can afford to take it. He's still the international championship.
I'm
just wondering what's
one of the
next
best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah. It did also tie into the story of he finally went for the Tiger Driver, but it wasn't enough because he had kind of delayed doing it for a second. So it plays into his whole consciousness angle that they've been doing. And it looks like him and Kyle Fletcher are probably going to be breaking away from Don Callis. Kyle Fletcher was there at ringside when Will Ospreay lost, helped him out of the ring, kind of supported him while he was lamenting the loss and everything. But there was also a show of respect from Swerve. He's not going to heal it up after this. It's this was them being friends and it getting very personal.
And now they're friends again.
Don Callis continuously seems to cost Ospreay in his matches. So it's gonna be a great moment when he finally breaks away. And now I think on Wednesday, following this, we get Daniel Garcia versus Ospreay for the international title.
Right.
It's gonna be a really good match.
They also may be building. That was one thing in the match. Yeah,
in the match.
They focused on Daniel Garcia watching the match, and I was kind of confused because, like, if you missed it on Wednesday, you won't understand. But there was the promo segment with Garcia and MJF, and Garcia was putting MJF over, saying like how you motivated me and all that. Ospreay came out putting his nose in somebody else's business, promised Daniel Garcia a title match, and also during the match we get the shot of MJF watching, as MJF is probably not taking kindly to Ospreay right now. So we got a few directions where this trio of wrestlers of Ospreay, Garcia, and MJF could go. And I think that's a nice little change up of their feuds. But yeah, it looks like all these seeds for the next storylines are being planted.
Yeah, and most likely, I think maybe this leads to a triple threat between MJF, Ospreay, and Daniel Garcia at All In. You get like the best of both worlds with Daniel Garcia. He gets his match with MJF and Ospreay for the International Championship.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That would be cool, but like I said, I don't know exactly which direction they're going to go with Ospreay next. Where Swerve seems more obvious to me.
Yeah, Swerve, I feel, is Hangman, or I don't know, like it could maybe be a run back to Christian Cage, but I think also he's going into. I think he's also handling. I think he's about to feud with House of Black.
Maybe.
I think the patriarchy faced down House of Black on one of the last episodes.
No, because Christian Cage and the patriarchy, Christian Cage, right now I think they're getting ready to feud with the Bang Bang Gang for the AEW trio titles.
Right. They interrupted the interview of Jay White and the Guns. So I like how they're keeping people moving around and being involved. And Christian Cage is like, all right, we do have trios. Let's go for the trios title.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good pay-per-view, man. What a good pay-per-view.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Agree. I enjoyed it completely.
Wondering where everybody's going to go from here in terms of their story. Because like I said, Swerve kind of has a penciled-in feud ready to go. Ospreay and Garcia is probably going to be announced for Wednesday. We're going to have that Pac Danielson match, which is just going to be an exhibition match of the best kind. So... And we'll see what happens with Tony. We'll probably have they announced that Mercedes Moné is going to have her double championship celebration. So I fully expect Britt Baker to interrupt that.
Of course.
And we're going to start building up to All In, right? That's the next one?
Yep, that's the next one for AEW, their biggest pay-per-view of the year.
Got 2 months to build up that, so let's get it started.
Build up.
Is Mercedes Moné going to wrestle on TV? Has she done that yet? I can't remember.
She has.
She has? Okay.
She's wrestled Stephanie Vaquer's tag team partner. I can't remember her name though. I think it's
right. That was the TV match 2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, it was I was like, it was the Luchador. I was like, it's just a build to Forbidden Door. I forgot that she was Vaquer's tag team match. Tag team partner. But yeah, so Britt Baker's back. We still have Swerve as champion. We probably have a emotionally changed Will Ospreay as champion. We got the trios looking better. We got Acclaimed still feuding with Elite. Let's see where all this goes for Wembley. I'm just wondering, I hope it's Hangman Swerve at Wembley. Just give them a bigger stage to do their bullshit on.
Hangman Swerve 3.
Hangman Swerve 3.
It's 3.
Is it 3?
Wait, they're 4. This is going to be the 4th match between them.
Okay.
Yeah, the 3rd was that where he hung him with the chain.
Yes.
But Hangman's right. That vignette proved it. It's his family left him. He's back to alcohol, and the guy who broke into his house is being cheered as world champion. Hangman has all the reason in the world to come back. Yeah, it's just Hangman has all the reason in the world to come back vicious.
And deranged.
It's crazy. He's I love he's like, he broke into my house. You all
I got
cheered
shade
him.
for me, broke into my house.
Yeah, and you all cheered when he hung me with a chain. Like, but yeah, I can't wait to see it. And yeah, hopefully Jericho can go away soon.
Golf.
Or at least to the pre-show.
Yeah. I wouldn't have mind the 4-way tag team match being replaced or replacing the Jericho match. But also wouldn't want Joe and them to, you know, be on the pre-show. Those guys deserve to be on the main card. It's just the feud they're in sucks. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's Forbidden Door 3. And next we got All In, which is going to be fucking crazy. Or All Out, which is going to be crazy. All In is the week after, I believe. And then Money in the Bank next week. For the episode. We'll be watching it on Saturday.
Yep.
So that's going to be great. I think that has like, 6 or 7 matches on it right now?
Right.
So far.
Where's Money in the Bank taking place anyway? I forgot.
It's in
Toronto.
Canada.
Another
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like I was about to say, is that another international pay-per-view?
No,
Okay.
that was going to
is.
be.
Yes.
That was going. Technically, yes, but it's going to be at a
Technically,
more
yeah.
reasonable time because it's
Okay.
within
Because
our time zones.
It's in the
on-
Americas, so yeah, it's gonna
on
be.
our continent.
It's on our continent, so it's within our time zones, thankfully.
So that's gonna be at night.
But
Good.
I don't feel as hyped for Money in the Bank because that is kind of like not a lot's going to change there, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, not a lot of world shattering change there, but it is a B pay-per-view. Yeah. So, anybody else have any final thoughts about this?
Not anything that we haven't already said, that we didn't literally say last week about stop glucking the companies. They're not paying you to do that.
One final thought though. I think this is our third Forbidden Door. I do think at some point they're gonna have to kind of reconfigure this pay-per-view a little bit because you
can't throw in a month or two build. Like you have to probably incorporate these guys a little bit longer in the builds to this.
Yeah, it's gonna have to go through somewhat of a little bit of a reimagination, but
I would say just
eventually,
take Forbidden Door and just make it War Games.
yeah,
You know? Like,
between 3 companies, or at
That
least
kind of runs into
two
the
major
same
companies.
issue that you have
Blood and guts.
where
yeah.
it kind of runs into the same issue you have where you like make it to where they are it's like kind of like if WWE did a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view.
That's fair.
Kind of runs
Yeah.
into that same
Yeah.
issue. Which they have done a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view.
Maybe make it like a
was
Survivor
bad.
Series. Maybe make it like a Survivor Series thing, and like in the weeks build it up to it, have like the heads of the company like having little vignettes where they're like picking like team guys
Yeah,
or something like that.
Right,
Like
they-
I like that. Kind of like
just
a
make it-
storyline.
just make it a Survivor Series because we did the
Sure.
SmackDown, Raw, NXT one. You can just do that with CMLL, New Japan, and their companies, and AW and their companies.
yeah.
So-
They just need to do a little. I think they just need to do something different with New Japan, other than hey, let's just do showcase matches with guys from other companies. I think there should be a little bit more of a build to some of this, but overall, I think it's a great pay-per-view.
Yeah,
And that's all I got to say about it.
it's fun. If anything, it's fun.
It's fun.
It's a crazy comic crossover once a year. Like
Once a year.
once a year. But then New Japan announced they're doing so twice a year. And I'm waiting for CMLL to announce it, so 3 times a year. So
That's all I got.
It's like,
yeah.
it's like Triple Mania.
it's trouble. AAA is in trouble, and I'm so glad they're working with CMLL instead of AAA right now. Conan
Maybe
has no idea what the fuck he's doing in that company.
Maybe WWE should kind of work with AAA. Just saying. But anyway,
It's a thing. It is a thing going on right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is it. We'll see you guys next week with our Money in the Bank thoughts. Aside from that, yeah, as always, you can find us on YouTube if you're watching. If you're listening to this on Spotify or any other podcast platforms, you can find us on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, we have the link below. You can find us on podcast services. So if you want to listen to us on a car ride, you can do that too. And yeah, we have a Twitter that is occasionally updated. So follow that for any kind of updates as they arise. And yeah, as for the main podcast show, I don't know. I think we'll we're still figuring out things for that. We haven't done a main episode in a while. But what can you do?
This is the main podcast.
This is, and it's not the main, it's the more frequent.
This is the main podcast.
Main podcast now. Yeah.
Look at me. I am the main podcast now.
I'm the main podcast now. But yeah, we'll catch you guys later and see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.